We're back, everyone, and we're going to conclude this this episode and segment with Nightwing and Batman. Nightwing number 3, Better Than Batman Part 3. Well, this is pretty cool because it's a tie-in kind of. We see that last issue, Barbara Gordon had called Dick, and Dick ignored it while they're going to trace a lead. So Batgirl ends up following them.
Yeah, yeah, all the way across the globe.
Yep.
I mean, halfway across the globe from where she was in Japan to where they are trying to get into this guy's house. This guy had he had designed the headquarters for the Parliament of Owls.
Yes.
And now he was afraid that he was going to be assassinated, so he designed his house.
Yeah, he had a tarot card.
maze.
Yeah, he had a tarot card reading. He was, I guess, a very great inventor, the best one when it came to mazes and puzzles. And when he was making a big fortune off of designing mazes and puzzles, well, lo and behold, he gets a tarot card reading that's saying that an assassin would end up killing him. So he makes this his house as an evolving puzzle, a maze that only he can figure out.
Yeah.
And that's where that's where Robin, Batgirl, and Raptor, they go to find out, try to get these blueprints from him. But they enter the maze. The easy part was entering the maze. The hardest part was getting through there.
Yeah, yeah, and they kind of alluded to it being sort of like a history lesson.
Yes.
That you have to have a lot of different skills and be familiar with a lot of different subjects to get through it. And eventually, they really get through it because both Dick Grayson and Raptor, to an extent, know tarot cards.
Yep.
And they have to be able to sort those. And Dick knows it from his time in the circus.
Yes.
And Raptor knows it from who knows where, because he seems to know a lot about everything.
Well, what did you think of the interaction between Barbara and Dick about his motivation for doing what he does? And when we're talking about when he was always reading the Robin Hood story, and he always kind of liked the fact that he was robbing from the rich and giving to the poor, and that was where the Robin kind of stuck in, is what he's saying is from Robin Hood.
Yeah, and that was kind of an interesting internal monologue, because he also mentions that, the moment he told that to Barbara, that maybe we should, he comes to the conclusion, maybe we should be fighting poverty, not crime. Right. He tells that to Barbara, and she says, being the daughter of a cop, she says, well, if you're stealing, you're still committing a crime. You're still a criminal yourself. So it's an interesting bit of friction between them.
Yep.
That kind of pushes them apart in this issue. So it looks like, I mean, they'll build that relationship later on, but it's an interesting wedge to shove in, and it's an interesting bend for Dick to take in this, because I mean, the previous issues he was helping basically refugees, trying to save them from Cobra. So it fits into the worldview we've seen of him so far in the series.
Yeah, and then he kind of she thinks he's going too far with the infiltration of trying to swing back so far that he won't swing back, that he enjoys this dark side that he's kind of embracing, he's walking that tightrope, and he is really almost too close to the edge, and he enjoys that too much because he is a thrill seeker. Nightwing by nature, Dick Grayson is a thrill seeker because of his years in the circus, because of all of his wire acts that he used to do, him and his family. So it's just like another thrill for him to get back to the edge, where Batman is more grounded, Nightwing is more the adventurer.
Yeah.
So yeah, different philosophy and different ideology. I think she called out something that Dick knew but wasn't admitting to himself.
Yeah.
And they get through this issue. They go through each individual puzzle. They get through it, but yeah. First, let's say how the issue opened up, because they were like here and now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because it opens up with Raptor standing over the guy's Rude's body, and Nightwing's I think it's Nightwing yelling, you just killed an innocent man.
Yep.
And he's got blood on Suyalak. He looks like he just offed the guy, and that's what they were sent by the Parliament to do, when in reality or at least Dick's reality, they're trying to get the blueprints back to the, for their own use, so they can infiltrate the Parliament and, disassemble them.
So they go through all this issue. Then we get to the part where the maze opens up after the tarot card, and Root is on the ground dead. Dick loses it, starts fighting Raptar, punching him. The Parliament of Owls is watching, and they are just enjoying it because now they say finally they've got Nightwing has kind of destroyed his moral compass, and he won't be able to do anything but to serve them and not be able to warn Robin about the bomb they implanted. Once he destroys the monitor by pushing Raptar's head in it, Raptar is enough. And Root gets up and says, hey, did I do all right?
Yeah.
I was holding my breath as long as I could. It was a ruse that Raptar thought of as they went, so that the Parliament thought that, hey, this guy is dead. Raptar did what he was supposed to. He didn't inform Barbara and Nightwing about it. Nightwing was all right with it after the fact because they got the plans worked out, but Barbara didn't really like that. She didn't really like how they went about doing it.
Yeah, and she didn't seem to be a big fan of Raptor throughout the entire issue, and it sort of seemed likewise when they first met. And they kind of tussled a little bit. Raptor says, I'm sorry, the enrollment is closed for this semester. For having
Bat kids, the Bat kids.
Yeah.
And where did you get the blood? I keep a half pint of my own blood in
Suyalak.
Yes.
Yeah, it's I enjoy Raptor's character. I mean, I like all the stuff that he has. This kind of weird sort of anti-hero Batman. But I'm still curious to know where does he stand in the end?
Yeah.
Because everything we've seen so far has been, it looks like he goes one way and then he goes another way. And he looks like he goes another way and he goes another way. I mean, he looks like he's committing Dick's worst fears. Then, as it turns out, I'm still on your side. We're doing this together. I'm wondering, where does that end? Does he end up on Dick's side, or does he end up favoring the Parliament?
Probably his own side when it's all said and done.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Where was Nightwing and Raptor going afterwards? They got the plans, but they had something that they couldn't read. It was the Book of Wisdom or something like that, which was a book the Parliament used because they wanted to use a book in some sort of unreadable language so that in the age of hackers and cyber criminals, they would be stymied by that because there's no... Yeah, the Book of Wisdom is kind of like their all-in-one accounting book and their spreadsheet and their database on who has what, who does what has what. But only one person who designed it is able to read it, so that's who they're going to. And like you said, Dr. Leviticus?
Yeah, which who we were introduced to an issue or two ago, was digging up a grave with a kind of Frankensteinish monster type thing, and it looked like Raptor offed him. I mean, it looked like he took him out right there. But as it turns out, Raptor's had him, him or her. I honestly couldn't tell.
Right.
So we'll find out eventually, maybe. Raptor has him at his base in Turkey. Raptor Air. So it looks like sounds like he has his own company or something. Which who knows? He might. He's got to fund all this somehow.
So you think Dick will go over the edge, or do you think he'll stay just on that brink? He's not a bad person. He just enjoys the thrill, and I think teaming with Raptor is giving him a new thrill.
Yeah. I think I'm more curious to see, I think Dick's gonna stay on the edge. I mean, I don't think he's gonna cross it, but I'm more curious to see which edge is Raptor on. Is Raptor on that edge, or has he already crossed it and he's trying to get Dick over there? I'm curious to see where this goes, and this is one of the ones I've enjoyed the most so far, mainly because I love Raptor. He's so cool. Please don't kill him. Please don't kill him off at the end of the story arc. He's too cool.
This is Josh's. I hope they bring out a figure for Raptor.
Yes, come on. Where is it?
Maybe further down we'll get some really cool, and then you'll have the figures.
Yeah, that would be nice. Gotta have Suyalak in action figure form.
And it comes with its own little half pint of blood.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, make one of those little water ones. You move it one way, the water goes up. Move it the other way, the blood goes down. That'd be fun.
So Nightwing so far he isn't better than Batman, but he's sure showing different sides of him, and that's what's really cool. Batman number 5, I Am Gotham Part 5. Well, we get some closure kind of in a way with this story arc, and it starts with as Batman isn't able to be there in time, he has to distract Gotham somehow, so he sends Alfred. And that monologue was excellent at the very beginning.
Yeah, Alfred in a bat suit.
Yes.
Which is one of the best things I've seen. And Alfred then actually confronts Gotham, which I wasn't expecting. You know, he gets out, he says, "I'm Batman," and Gotham is so incredibly confused.
I was confused because he rams the Batmobile over 100 miles an hour into Gotham, and before that he has that little dialogue of, "Yeah, it'll be an honor to take care of your child. Nothing will happen. I'll watch him. I'll read good stories. We'll go out occasionally," not knowing that you're going to grow up. I'm going to be in a bat suit. I mean, the kid's going to go all through the night taking down criminals. Mm-hmm. It was just funny. Yeah. The moment Alfred does that, "I'm Batman. Alfred, I'm on my way." Oh, thank goodness. And he runs. He runs. Yeah. That was awesome. But really, the seriousness of the final showdown between Batman and Gotham. Batman, like we said, Gotham has a Batmobile crashed into him. Batman tries to reason with Gotham. It doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So he has to crash the Batplane into him. Mm-hmm. Wow, the Batwing doesn't do anything. So he decides Alfred make the call, and the Justice League has to show up. Mm-hmm. And that fight doesn't go very well for the Justice League.
Yeah,
which was weird.
Gotham's really, really powerful.
Yeah.
This is, when I was reading this is almost like the inverse of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, where, you know, the non-superpowered guy powers himself up and really waylays the guy with the superpowers. And in this, it's the godlike guy with the superpowers who waylays everybody else. And
then Batman, while he's watching, he's talking with Duke. Mm-hmm. Duke is at the Batcave, and Gotham Girl Claire comes through. She's still under the Psycho Pirate's influence of being scared. Mm-hmm. And Duke kind of calms her down. And meanwhile, Gotham is still under the rage of Psycho Pirate, and he says if he can't help Gotham, he's going to destroy it. Well, Batman is telling him, "Well, if anyone has failed you, I have failed you because I am Gotham. Yeah. I'm the one that's protected. I am doing this." And you see that monologue of where Batman, how he defines himself. I thought was pretty good. But then they start talking. Claire, we find out the origin of how they got their superpowers, and was really different than what I thought originally had happened.
Yeah, it's not that they got. She explains that they didn't get superpowers for life. Yeah. They got superpowers in exchange for their life.
Yes.
That they could live, a few years normal. They could live for, they could be normal for a number of years. They could be superheroes for a few years, or she says, you could be a god for, an hour or so.
And the reason Batman noticed was because every time Gotham and Gotham Girl, they had a major event that they had to help, was the bridge, the airplane. They were struggling, but it was just enough. They had just enough to overcome that. Mm-hmm. And when he's fighting Superman, just enough. Same with the Flash, just enough. The Green Lanterns, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, just enough. So the power level isn't fixed. It is based on what type of what they're facing and what they're up against. And the more power is required, the more it takes off the life.
Yep.
They finally are able to calm down. Claire is able to calm down enough where she has to go and confront her brother and fight her brother. And because he's used up most of his life fighting the Justice League, doing all this, she's able to take him out and unfortunately dies. Mm-hmm. But that was kind of shocking that happened. But there was something else that was even more shocking, was the internal monologue at the very end of that issue.
Yeah, which I took it to be from Gotham Girl. She's mentioning in sort of a future, sort of like her future self looking back, is that she and Duke get married.
Yep.
They visit their brother's grave.
Oh, no, it's the site of the...
Yeah, they mentioned they mentioned where her brother died. And then she also mentions that, this is after Bruce has died.
Yeah.
And after Batman's died.
Yeah, after what Batman had done.
Yeah, and she mentioned that, that was the day Batman died and Gotham Girl was born.
Yes.
So it makes me wonder, is she going to continue to be a hero, or is she maybe going to be out for revenge against Batman? Because you can interpret that in a couple different ways. Or
the origin of Gotham Girl, the death of Batman. Yeah, that was weird as we're reading that.
Yeah.
Where does this happen? How many years in the future are they talking about there?
Yeah.
That this was the day that it all started for her and for Duke.
Yeah.
Where does this go?
Or could this all still be Psychopirate stuff? I mean, she did just had some very intimate moments with Duke in the Batcave.
Yep.
So she might still have some residual feelings for that. I mean, her brother just died, so she would be thinking about that.
Right.
And she might still be angry at Batman, so she might want him to die at that moment too. So we'll see if that's just residual, Psychopirate influence, or we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the story arc, this was the climax of it, I feel, but we still have some unanswered questions that we're going to get to in next issue with that. It's pretty good. This is a good storyline.
Yeah, that was a great. Yeah, we finally figure out, what has Gotham so angry.
Yes.
Is it he's angry at the city? I mean, he mentions that, you try so hard to save the city and you can't. And Batman says, I know.
Yeah.
Like, I've been trying to save the city for so many years, and it has still the same crap that I have to deal with every night.
But he doesn't lose focus on what his goal is.
Yeah, and that was kind of a neat closure to this.
Very good issue. Batman is always excellent. Batman, some new characters. Duke is really... I like Duke. He's growing. He's growing as a character. Alfred had the issue, though.
Oh, yeah. Alfred takes the cake between, wearing the bat suit in the beginning, and then when he takes the call from Batman and he says, I've taken off the suit. If you want me to put it back on, I expect a substantial raise in wages. Right. It makes me laugh. And it sort of takes you back to the old 66 series, because Alfred would sometimes drive the Batmobile, and he'd have a little, the little domino mask over his eyes, just in case. Right.
So what are your thoughts, as we wrap this episode up, what are your thoughts on what we've read so far? This kind of a good bag, a mixed bag, Yeah, where do we go from that bag?
Yeah, well, it's still, it's some very good comics, and even for the ones that we're not into yet, Suicide Squad's still just starting. Right. Hopefully we'll get more story as we go, and hopefully we'll get more of those, little one-shots at the end with the individual members, and Harley, hopefully it'll get to a point that it meshes with us at some point. That would be nice. Yeah, closure to the whole zombie thing would be really, really nice.
And then move on. Get it done and get it over with.
Yeah, I'm amazed that zombie police horse is still there. Yeah.
She got him by the hook, and that's where when the chicken, give me some chicken wings, we'll find out, and put some chicken wings down, and end up, that's where she got down, because the horse, of all the things she could hook onto, is the horse.
Yeah, that's like the zombie MVP of all those, is the horse. That's even got some kills, too. That even had one lady by the arm, too. Wow. So we'll see we'll just have to see where they all go.
Agreed.
This is the good part about comics, is they continue.
Exactly.
And things change.
And there's always something to read every week. And with that, this wraps up this episode of Comic Book Cove. If you have any thoughts on especially Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn, or any of the titles that we've been discussing, drop us a line on our YouTube site or on our Facebook. They're both at Delve Into the Void. So this week, I'm Tom Morris.
And I'm Josh Holderbaum.
And we will talk to you next episode.